Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is gonna be a little interactive. So this video is based on the frequently asked questions you guys send me on Instagram, on YouTube, in the YouTube comments, or on my website of the online course. And I decided to collect all of them because I think most of you have those questions or are wondering. And then I will probably make a series of these videos about the questions you ask me, because I collect them in a Google document and then I, of course, answer you when you message me privately. But I think it's good to have a collection of them here as a YouTube video so that I can always refer to it and where you can get a very good answer. Where I answer it in detail. So let's start with the first question. Are there any sample papers of the WU BBE entrance exam? No, there aren't. WU does not publish them because it's a very competitive exam, so around the top 10 to 15% of applicants get in. That is why the exam is always a bit of a surprise for everybody. But me and my team have made an exam simulation based on my experience and the experience of my students and their feedback, where you can check out a very good approximation of how the real exam will look like. Then, how do you prepare for the WU BBE entrance exam? So there are two ways to prepare for it. Of course, you can prepare for it by yourself, following the official recommendations on the WU's website. I can also leave a link to it down below in the description box in case you haven't found it yet. You can also check out my videos I made about the entrance exam, the enrollment procedure. I've also made a lot of posts about it on my Instagram and in the highlights, so you can always check out the information there. I do post a lot of nice content and useful content for you guys if you're applying to WU BBE in 2022 or in the following years, depending on when you're watching this video. So you can either do that, or if you want to save yourself some time and nerves, especially if you come from abroad, not from Austria, if you're an international student, then I've also made an online course which helps you prepare for the math part, mainly because this is the part where most students struggle, since it's based on the Austrian Matura, and there's like some difference in the education systems. And I will also give you a good approximation of what to expect on the English and economics parts and how to prepare for them in the most optimal way. So you can also check that out. I will leave the link down below in the description box. Then to the more general questions, or let's say more specific ones asked by specific people, like more individual questions, the first one is, can you apply to more than one program at once? For example, WU has 3 bachelors. 2 of them are German taught. There is WISO and WIRE, the social sciences bachelor and the law bachelor, and also the BBE, of course, the Bachelor of Business Economics in English. And of course, yes, you can apply to all 3 of them if you want. You can also study all 3 of them if you want and you have the time. I made a live stream on my Instagram with a girl who studies both BBE and WISO at the same time, and she just makes her schedule and actually takes more courses of this program or less courses of this program, so she balances it. So if a person studies 2 programs at once, of course you can apply to more than 2 programs at once. And usually the entrance procedure to the German bachelors is not gonna interfere time-wise with the BBE ones. Even when they had the test for the German bachelors back in 2019 for sure. So there was a test for the BBE first, and then there was a test for the bachelor's program for the German bachelors. So they didn't interfere there. It was on the same day, but the time was different. And right now, since the BBE exam is online and they're switching most of the selection procedure to online mode, so it's easier for international students. In the past 2 years, for sure, for the entrance procedure to the German bachelors was a written task, and they give you all the details there. It's not that difficult. You just have to do a lot of research on the WU's website and the subjects there, but don't worry. And of course, you need to do German to a C1 level to apply for the German 2 bachelors, but that's a whole different story. So yes, you can apply to more than 1 program at once, and you can also study more than 1 program at once at WU or at other universities. I have a friend who, for example, studies at a Korean university and also at WU BBE. So you can also mix it up. And the scheduling allows you to do that. The flexible scheduling of WU BBE, once you complete the introductory phase, does allow you to take more or less courses depending on your, well, of course, study of the schedule of your other studies or maybe your work, because the age range of applicants ranges from around 18 until like 27 and 30. So people come from different backgrounds, and most of them are already working. So the BBE Bachelor does offer you some flexibility regarding your schedule once you complete the introductory phase. And the next question is, if you're a native English speaker, do you have to do the English part of the entrance exam? Yes. Every single applicant has to do all the questions and all the parts of the entrance exam, no matter if they're a native English speaker or they finished the Austrian education and they did the math matura already. This is an exam which is a competitive and a selective exam of applicants. So no matter what your background is, of your previous education, if you're a native English speaker, and so on, you have to do all 3 parts. Or if you have the IELTS exam, you also have to do all 3 parts. So nothing in this world can make you skip one part and give you like automatic maximum points for it. No, this is a competition, and you have to do all 3 parts to make it a fair competition, no matter your background. Do you need to know German to apply to WU BBE for the Bachelor of English and Economics? For Bachelor of Business and Economics at WU? No, you don't need to know German. You just need to know German if you're applying for the German Bachelor's to a C1 level usually. But for BBE, you don't need to know German. You don't need to know to a 2 level. You don't need to know. So yeah, you don't need to know German at all. Most people, when they come to BBE, when I was talking to my friends and so on, they have usually no background knowledge of German, or like an A1 or an A2 level of German, because they started learning it like a few months before moving to Vienna and so on. I also did that. I also learned German in my last year of high school, just so I kind of can, navigate and survive better. But in general, even if you're in Vienna and you don't know German, you can still survive. Most people speak English, especially the younger generation. Yeah, I think almost everyone speaks English there. So you also don't need German to survive or to come to Vienna. So that's a good thing, right? You don't need to learn that language, because for some students it is very difficult, if it's like the first foreign language they're learning, especially. Then, how many questions are there in each part? So in each part, there are approximately 10 to 13 questions. You're going to have 3 parts, English, Math, and Economics, and there's going to be from 10 to 13 questions in each part, and each question will have 5 multiple choice statements to it. So that's question 1, the main kind of task. Then there's 5 statements, and you have to choose if they are true or false. There's also the partial grading system. So for each true or false statement, you pick correctly, you get 20% of the total points available for that question. I will also kind of give you an example down below in the description box, so you know what I'm talking about, because it's kind of hard to explain here, like in the air with my hands, how it looks. But don't worry about it. Also, there's partial grading system, so you don't have to get all of the statements correct in order to get the maximum point, in order to get some points for the question. If you, for example, choose 2 right answers and then you miss out on the other 2 answers which were also right, and you kind of mark them as false when they were true, you still get some partial points there. So it's not an all or nothing system. So it does give you partial points. And the question following that is, which part weighs more? Like, is it the English part, is it the economics part, or the math part? So as of 2021, and we can of course change that as years go by, English weighs around 20%, so a bit less than the rest of the parts. And economics and math part were approximately the same, so they weigh approximately 40% each. So I would focus, if I were you, I would focus on economics and math, because of course this is economics bachelor, so you do need to know math and economics to study there. That's why probably those parts weigh a little bit more than English. How much time do we have for the exam? From 2018 to 2020, for sure, until 2020, you had 3 hours, and there were 3 parts. It was magical, it's logical, there's 1 hour for each part. And then in 2021, they left the amount of questions the same, but they made it 2 hours. So they only give you 2 hours, so you had to rush it up a bit, and have to manage your time really wisely there. But in 2022, they can also change it back to 3 hours, or you can leave it at 2 hours. You never know. You just have to wait until they announce it officially in your email when you're an applicant there, or just on their website. But usually you will get an instruction email. It's not going to be available in the open domain, I think. Yeah, you usually get as applicants, they have your emails, and they will send out you the emails about all the instructions. So please check your emails. Once you start the application on the 1st of March, check your emails, check your inbox, just in case, check the spam folder. You don't want to miss out on any important information. And also, since there's going to be online supervision, and they're going to watch what you're doing on the computer screen, your face, they're going to have the access to your camera on your computer, and also they will record the sounds around you with the microphone on your computer. You're not allowed to wear headphones during the exam, so they can kind of catch all the sounds there, so they know that you're not cheating. That means a piece of paper, a pen, a pencil, calculator, a book, whatever is not allowed. They're not allowed on the exam, and you just have your computer and your mouse to do the exam. And they will provide all the online, like an online notepad, an online calculator there, and I also made a video about the online exam on this YouTube channel. I really suggest you watch it because I give you like all of the instructions on the questions you might have about the online format of the exam. And also there are going to be a couple of mock tests right before the actual exam. We will provide you with them, and please use them to get used to the platform itself. Please make sure the platform works on your computer. Make sure you kind of get used how to draw on the notepad, how to use a calculator. Don't use those mock tests for the questions. They're not going to be like the ones like they're going to be like just a few questions from each part, so it's not going to be like an actual exam there. They're just going to like give you like around 2 questions per part, just for you to get used to the platform and not to solve the questions and get the maximum marks. This is not the point of mock exams. And tech difficulties. I also have a post on my Instagram about the things that can go wrong on the online exam with your technical devices and so on, so you can also read that. But there are technical difficulties. I know around 15 to 20 people who could not complete the exam or who couldn't open the exam due to technical difficulties. For some people, the exam just didn't open at all. They couldn't get access to it. For one girl, the exam submitted itself after 1 minute. Some people were scrolling through the questions and then it stopped, and then they couldn't move forward. They couldn't move past a certain question, they couldn't complete the whole exam, and couldn't get it done on time. So if something happens with your online platform and your computer, WU's technical support staff cannot do anything about it because they cannot control every single computer and how the platform works on every single computer. So that's why you have the mock test. Please make sure they work perfectly and you download all the things you need for the platform to work. And then I just make sure there's not going to be an unexpected electricity turn off in your flat or in your house. Make sure your Wi-Fi connection is good. Make sure your camera is working, your microphone is working, because you don't want to let the technical difficulties, which are not dependent on you, mess up your application procedure and your entrance exam. And also, a very frequent question for students who come from abroad is a document called the Proof of University Enrollment Qualification needed to apply to BBE. No, you don't need this paper. BBE is a very international program. I think on WU's website they published that there are applicants from over 100 or 120 countries, so you don't need this paper to apply to BBE. You don't need this paper to apply to German bachelors or maybe to other English bachelors related to business economics in other universities in Vienna or in Austria, but you don't need this paper for WU BBE. I hope this was it. These were the main questions which people ask me. And if you have any more questions, please comment them down below in the comments, and I will also answer you and maybe include them in the next part of the series called the frequently asked questions of WU BBE applicants. See you!